We are loaded for bear. I've always wanted to say that. I had my heart set on hunting bears this year. I have wanted to do this for quite some time to get myself a nice bear hunt. My dream bear hunt has been to hunt black bears in Ontario. Unfortunately, I was unable to pull that off this year due to COVID. Couldn't get up there. Canada is not a friend of Bunjie at this time. Canada would not let me in. Well, so be it. That's their decision. Their loss. How's that? That's their loss. This is the times we live in, but I am very grateful for the opportunity to come up here and enjoy the New England outdoors. If I see some bear, that's a win-win for me. I'm thinking probably next year I am going to try and go to Ontario for that dream hunt. Perhaps Genevieve can go with me. Genevieve, are you listening? I actually talked to her about that. She don't like the long drives or anything like that. But man, that would be awesome if I could convince her to do that. She will be out of high school by that time and have a much freer schedule, able to commit a week to something like that perhaps. And I'm thinking, because Canada has been closed to Americans this year, there's going to be a surplus of bears next year. I don't know if they thought that through. Maybe they are doing it on purpose to make next year even better for me and Bunjie. So perhaps we'll go up there next year and hunt some bears. It seems like if they shoot a lot fewer bears this year, they're going to have more next year, and the ones that are around this year are going to be a little bit bigger next year. So next year might be a perfect year to go try out Ontario for black bear hunting. But this year, Bunjie and I are focusing on New England. Well, so much for that. I am back in Pennsylvania. The bear hunt is concluded, and Bunjie and I have returned to Pennsylvania without a bear. Well, don't get too sad about that. This is just the next step in the Death by Bunjie CROSSBOW story. Those of you who read my book have seen our successes and failures over the last 10 years, hunting together, hunting with a crossbow. The bear is just the next sort of thing on the list, the next type of hunt on the list to fill up that new trophy room. Now, I got a question from a friend of Bunjie. Why bear hunting? Why are you going bear hunting? That's a good question. That's a good question. And really, when I thought about it, the answer is the same as why I hunt with a crossbow for whitetails or why I ever went Sika deer hunting. There's a number of reasons. One is to taste bear meat. I've never had bear meat, but I would love to cook with bear meat and see what it tastes like. Another reason is the trophy side of it, right? I can't wait to go to Maryland this fall, pick up my Sika deer, bring that little guy back to Pennsylvania, back to Bradford County where he belongs. He's probably the only Sika deer trophy mount in all of Bradford County. Probably nobody else here. Most people here haven't even heard of Sika deer. So that opportunity is a big part of it as well. I'd love to have a bear rug to hang on the wall or to put on the floor, or a full-size bear mount maybe to put in the trophy room or something like that. I think that'd be great. Just like I hang the deer antlers on the wall, just like those are mementos of our experience together, Bunjie and I would like to have a bear as well. Now, Bunjie and I had gone to Maryland for 8 straight years. Can you believe that? Our early crossbow season, 8 years in a row in Maryland. So this is the first time in 8 years where we haven't gone to Maryland, haven't started our early crossbow season, our crossbow seasons, with whitetail hunting. Instead, we started it with this trip up to Maine to hunt black bears. Genevieve and I are going to go check the trail cameras now that we're back in Pennsylvania, now that I'm back, and see what we've got on the trail cameras, because we have the Pennsylvania crossbow season starting very soon. But I figured during this trip, while I'm walking around here, while we're going in and out of the woods, while we're checking the trail cameras, I thought, what a good opportunity to share with you some of my thoughts on bear hunting. I got to tell you, getting up there in New England, it's a whole different world. It's swampy in spots, mountainous in other spots. Just a gorgeous time of year to be there. The leaves were already starting to change, even though it was early September. That's awesome for me, because it was just another part of those experiences that you get when you go someplace to hunt. This place, I love being here. I love walking around here, especially this time of year. You can't beat Pennsylvania. It is awesome. I had to wear my jacket today. It's so chilly, and it's middle September, right? You can't beat that. But by the same token, it's nice to see someplace else too. I was given strict instructions when I got to Maine to guard that barrel at all costs and make sure that no bears came in there and ate anything out of that barrel. That's very important. In all seriousness, you are hunting over bait in Maine. Just like this 100-year-old apple tree provides bait, it provides apples that fall on the ground, and it'll place those deer at 25 yards or so. When you've got apples, what do you do, Genevieve?
You hunt the apples.
There's my kid. She knows the score. When you got apples, you hunt the apples. So we have set up this nifty little blind here, the Ameristep Doghouse blind. It's ones I use. They're like 99 bucks or something. And we'll make it work for the two of us. In Maine, the barrel provides that bait. The guide had come in, had been baiting for 30 days in advance of the season there in Maine. You can do that. Would be in there and he would be loading up that barrel and had cameras. He's checking his cameras out throughout that time and putting the hunters on the barrels that have bears visiting them. I was given a bucket on my second night to go in there and replenish that barrel, make sure that it had plenty of stuff in there and plenty of food for the bears if they chose to come in. There are all kinds of chocolate and candy bars and I don't know, there's all kinds of good looking stuff in there. Yeah, don't worry, I didn't actually eat any of that stuff. I had to save it all for the bears. Standing under the 100-year-old apple tree here, and it's very encouraging. There's lots and lots of apples left, plus it is beaten down around here, all trampled down. It looks as though deer have been in and out of here looking for apples on a regular basis. We'll let them get back to that. We're going to mosey down to the camera. Look at the food plot behind me. Man, you go away for a few weeks and hunt some bears and don't shoot any bears, but you come back to great news. That food plot is nice and green and lush, and it's really taken off. A little tiny thing, I get that, but it's nice to see something green right here in the middle of the woods. I mean, you know, come November, December, that's going to be looking pretty good. In fact, timing-wise, it's probably perfect for when those apples stop dropping. We'll put a tree stand over here and have that going as an option. Always nice to have a couple options, you know what I'm saying? This is a crossbow hunting channel. I am a crossbow hunter. That's why I wrote a book called The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Story, right? When Bunjie and I go to Maine, we're the odd man out. Now, as crossbow hunters, we're kind of used to that, aren't we? We get those funny looks. But man, when I rolled into town with that case, the first thing the guide said is, when I was walking toward the truck, he goes, "Wow, that's some case." You know, like in other words, I'm not going to have any room for any bait buckets in the back of the pickup truck if you put that case in there. It took up a lot of real estate in the back of that truck over and over and over, day after day. I know that's a big deal, and it was kind of odd to him because he gets almost no crossbow hunters. Can you believe that? And talking to him, in fact, he asked me, "So how can we hunt with a crossbow? Why are you here with a crossbow?" I thought it was interesting because the stands that I was in and the other stands that others were in were all like 20 to maximum 40-yard shots. They don't have any stands set up beyond 40 yards. Now, if I was a rifle hunter, I'd want my stand set up 70 yards from the bait barrel, not 20 yards. With a rifle, I'd want to be, 70 yards so they can't smell me, because a bear's nose, you're not going to fool the bear's nose. The guide, I understand from his perspective that you would want to have shorter shots because you don't want to be chasing animals and losing them, right? You don't want to be wounding them. And he can't account for every hunter who shows up there, prepared or not prepared, sighted in or not sighted in. In fact, he told us when we got there that they lost 3 bears the week before, all to rifle hunters. All 3 of them were lost to rifle hunters. So it's not us crossbow guys who are responsible for diminishing the bear numbers up there and not taking them home. It is what it is. You can lose an animal with any equipment, that's for sure. It was kind of uncomfortable, really, because they were very entrenched in rifle hunting, and people just didn't understand archery, didn't understand crossbows in particular. There was one other guy in camp I saw that had a target with him who was using archery equipment. Everybody else was rifles. All of them were rifles. There were 9 other people in camp at any given time, 9 or 10 people, and they were all using rifles. That's all fine and dandy. I mean, there's a place for that in this world, and I totally respect that and appreciate it. I am a lifetime member of the NRA for what it's worth, and I spent my early hunting career hunting with a rifle, but it's not how I do it now. It was interesting to have those conversations with those rifle hunters, though, because I tried to relate to the conversation to them. They would tell me about their bullets and how their bullets weighed 170 grains or 220 grains, and I'd be like, "Oh, my arrow rig is set up at 440 grains or 450 grains. And their eyes would just be like, yeah, that's interesting. And then they would tell me, well, this shell, this little cartridge costs $3.50 a bullet, right? $30.50 a shell. And I'd be like, oh yeah, my Rage crossbow hypodermic costs like $13. So tell me about it. I know this stuff's expensive. Just one broadhead cost me $13. And they kind of look like, yeah, that's interesting. You know, no reaction in their eyes whatsoever. I had hoped to be the one to provide them with a little extra education about crossbow hunting and the crossbow hunting lifestyle. I had hoped to show them a bear that had died as a result of Bunjie's arrow. That did not happen. After all week of me hearing about the rifle guys saying, oh, look at that entrance wound, you know, this big old hole that I shot in that bear, and then seeing the exit wound, look how big that exit wound is. And it was, I mean, good for them. They shot they were good shots, they got their bears down. But finally, the last morning, before I'm getting ready to take a shower and get ready to go out, a guy shows up with a 250-pound boar that he shot with his Raven R26, right, crossbow. So he finally got a crossbow, and I started talking to the guy, and he goes, yeah, it's a great crossbow, blah, blah, blah. We were having a conversation about the crossbows, and I asked him what broadhead he used, and he said it was a Grim Reaper. And I'm like, all right, I bet that did a hurting on the bear, didn't it? And he goes, yeah, let me show you. And he pulls it over to us, and we're all standing around. The guys are looking at it, you know, that's neat, you know, arrow, whatever. And when he opened up, when he pulled back the hide to show them and show me the entrance wound from that Raven and that Grim Reaper broadhead, you should have seen the look on their eyes then. All of a sudden their eyes got real big and they're like, holy cow, an arrow did that? You know, like, wow. Because, I mean, you could see the entrance wound on that thing. You could see through the bear. I mean, he'd already gutted the bear, but you opened it up and you could see the inside of the skeleton, the inside of the rib cage, the whole bit. So at least someone got to give them a little bit of crossbow education. I will tell you also, it's a little intimidating walking around in the woods at night. I mean, you're standing in a spot where you've set up a whole bunch of food for the sole purpose of enticing all these bears to come into that exact location. And then, when it's dark, good and dark, half an hour after the sun sets, you climb down out of your tree stand, you zip your way out of your blind, and then you walk around amongst all those bears. I did receive quite an education because I learned what bears sound like. They make some sounds that I have heard here in Pennsylvania, the clacking of teeth, for example, and some thumping sounds like apples falling off of trees. I've actually heard those sounds here in Pennsylvania, and they're actually the sounds of bears, typically a boar trying to get your attention because he's frustrated that you are where he wants to be. In other words, you're kind of in the middle of his path. Genevieve yelled down to me that they've been into our scrape. Man, I guess so. That mock scrape we put in right here in this tree. You might have seen that video a while back. We put that in, and holy cow, they've been hitting that. Can't wait to check the trail cameras on that guy. Like I said, it is a whole different world up there, though. I had Canada jays, or gray jays, they call them up there, I guess, which is like a blue jay, but it's a very shrill, even more obnoxious sound. I also had a fisher come into the barrel. My second 3-day sit, was a blind in front of a green and white barrel, and had a fisher visit me in there, and that was a fun time. Did have a great time. I'd hoped to bring a bear back. It's just not in the cards. It was just not meant to be. But that doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity down the road. My first choice, of course, was Canada. But man, I'm telling you, Maine has something to offer Bunjie and I as well. So it was a fun trip. I can't complain. And I am proud to say that I did my job. Bunjie and I successfully protected that barrel no bears ate anything out of that barrel. So not under our watch, boy, we were doing our jobs. So we did a good job, but we actually had a great time in all seriousness. It was a fun time, and it makes me really, really excited about doing this again. I was kind of up in the air about this because stepping outside my comfort zone, all of a sudden I'm hunting an animal I've never hunted before, hunting in a place where I've never hunted before, buying hunting licenses for states where I had no idea I was going to be buying hunting licenses. So it's a good experience, and I think I got something out of it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It is kind of a different style of video. It's a vlog with us going through the woods checking trail cameras, but at the same time you are hearing about my bear hunt in a different state. So it is what it is. I hope that you are getting ready for your crossbow seasons wherever you are. Please let me know. Send me those pictures. Hit me up on the Facebook, hit me up on the deathbybungie.com website. You can hit me up there, contact me on there, leave me a voicemail on there. And now that I'm back in town, I'll be hitting up the podcast. I'll be up and running here again pretty quick. We'll be doing more podcast episodes, talking with Bunjie, available on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Check out my book if you haven't already. The Death by Bungie crossbow story continues to be written, doesn't it? It certainly is not the end of the book. In fact, we're starting in a new chapter right here in Season 7 on Death by Bungie. Thank you very much. And until next time, all hail Bungie!